We're not newscasters. Oh, that's not what we are. I don't need to stay fucking uptight and
No, I
stiff.
know, but you were like,
La vida es un carrusel,
welcome back to Real Talk with Casey and JoJo. What's up, Casey?
Jojo, what up?
Today we're talking about codes. We had to write this backwards. Just
She had to write it
I had to
backwards.
write it
Did a
backwards
damn good job too.
in order for this to be right.
Backwards and reversed.
All of it. Yeah, it
Very
was it
different.
was it was something.
The S was
So,
fun.
yeah, so let's talk about codes. What are they? Like, are we talking about symbolic codes? Are we talking about DNA codes?
Nah, man, we're talking about like Fast and Furious family codes, like a promise, not even a promise, because you don't like a code you don't break. It's a code,
It's a
right?
law.
A code is a law, right? It's like Sharia law, right?
Mm,
To some degree, in the sense that like there's like you just don't break it. It's unquestionable. You do not think about it. The answer is always no.
okay, but we're talking about codes in relationships. So, if you are, let's just say, do you think someone who just started a relationship would begin codes, or is this something
No,
for like people who have
no.
been together for a while?
Yeah, you've been together for a minute. Like codes, I think are good to put in place when you've started to show your true representative,
Mm.
not your we just started dating, I'm amazing representative. So what does that mean? That means like traumas, hurts, all that shit starts to get exposed, weaknesses, things that we're scared of, fears, like
Vulnerability
vulnerability. That's if you're into that shit, codes are for you.
codes. So
Cool.
let's give an example of maybe how did we start our codes?
I don't know. I think it was a Fast and Furious thing because we're like a Fast and Furious family. We've been to all the movies, so they do codes, and we kind of picked up the codes,
Yeah.
kind of sort of like that through that. It
Mhm.
wasn't some revelation or anything like that. I don't
Yeah,
think.
and this is something small, but it's so helpful in relationships because
Yeah.
it's like an underlying um conversation that you don't have to have because you already had it. And so you only have to have it once. Because how many times do we end up repeating the same thing over and over and over
Fighting over the
again
same shit over and over
when you
again.
could just have a code?
So an example, right? Like a very simple one, and let's get into this. Let's break this down. One of the codes that we use is I do not eat
Oh
without
yeah.
her. She does not eat without me. Dinner only. So
Yeah, obviously not throughout the day.
we have this code right now. How can this code benefit us? Let's say, for example, I get stuck at work, right? I don't need to communicate to her, hey, don't eat, don't. That's not even in my mind because the code is she is going to wait for me, right? I don't have to then get home to see that she's already eaten without me. Now I may hold resentment. Now I may start having all these thoughts. She too does not have to stress about it. I'm waiting for him. It is what it is. I'm hungry. I'll sacrifice whatever.
And it goes both ways. So like there's
Correct.
nights where I'm in here and I have a Zoom call or an event or something and he gets home and I know that he's waiting for me to eat because that's our code. And so it goes both ways, but it's something that you both agree on. It's not something that, it's his code and therefore I am, following his rule.
Yeah,
It's
it's not a
something,
decree.
right? It's something that you both agree on, that you both are like, you know what, this is a non-negotiable. And because we love eating together, let's make this a code where that is what it is. Another example is like leaving the house. Like we have to say our goodbyes. You don't leave the house without saying bye.
Right. Right. I don't leave at 4:30 in the morning without kissing you before I leave.
Yeah.
That's another code,
Yeah.
right? And the other aspect of codes that I think is important is that, when you create a code with the other person, it creates a bond. It creates a deeper bond, a deeper level of trust because you are putting your emotions and basically your weakest spots in their hands. And when they consistently show up and obey the code, it's reassuring as fuck, right? Like it
Yeah.
makes you feel like you can trust them and you can open up more. And it increases the dynamic of your relationship in such a
In a subtle
subtle,
way.
subtle way that you can't really, you have to experience the benefits of that, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you can explain
This is something that it's not like you just sit down and go, okay, let's build these codes. They happen over time
organically.
because of stuff. So, like for example, we have in the past both been I never could say this correctly. Like, what is it called? Cuando infidelidad.
Unfaithful.
We've been unfaithful with each other. We cheated on each other, or not really, but basically, that long story short, because of that, he would bring up the past a lot. And it
Oh,
got,
we going deeper. This is a deeper code.
yes, and it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I did what I did. You said you forgave me. I said that, you know, I've moved on. You said you've moved on. But yet here you are when when we're fighting or something, um, bringing up my past. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Code. Like, that's it. You are no longer bringing up my past. And therefore, I'm not bringing up the past either. So it's one of those things where when we're fighting, we don't bring up the past. That doesn't mean we can't talk about the past, reflect on the past, have new epiphanies about the past. But when you're fighting, it's not to be done.
Right. And I think that, the deeper level of that is that, speaking from that, from my experience, the minute she told me, look, I'm done and I have to make this code, it puts the responsibility on me to man up and be a big boy and learn how to deal with my emotions, right? Instead
Right.
of dumping them off on her. And so suddenly I had to step into and figure out other ways to handle when the past came up in my mind. And you know what? It was hard at first, but it got easier. But the code will lead you to become a better partner because of self-improvement things that can result from creating a code.
Right.
And don't, if you're watching this and you're like, yo, that's a dope fucking idea. Let's create some codes. Like Joanna said, let it organically happen. Let the idea simmer or percolate in your mind. Use at the earliest opportunity that you feel intuitively guided, use that shit, implement it in your relationship. Let us know, drop a comment, whatever, and see how that goes in your relationship. It will
Right.
help you deal with some shit and get past some shit.
Many times, or if not all the time, we are mirroring to each other. And our next episode is about mirrors, and that's going to be fun. But that's when we're going to get deeper into it. But right now, what I'm talking about is in the relationship, we mirror to each other the wound that needs the most healing. And that wound usually is a childhood wound that stems from a parent. So there's a lot of cycling that goes with that, patterns of repetition over and over and over when it's a deep wound like that. So when you implement these core codes, because I'm going to say core codes because they're part of our core wounds and traumas, it helps us heal so much faster because you're not repeating the same cycle. And like he said, you find different ways on how to go to the next level without repeating the same stuff, if that makes any sense. Because I
Yeah.
started thinking about Super Mario Brothers and got caught up in that.
Yeah, so kind of another real life, a little bit more in detail example of how you can implement codes into your life if you're a newer couple, right? So, for example, my son and his girlfriend, he comes home or he comes out of the shower, been in the shower for like 45 minutes relaxing, sees her, doesn't say hello, she gets upset because he didn't acknowledge her. He feels relaxed and peaceful and just he's kind of out of it because he's just been so relaxed and did not mean anything by that. It wasn't a slight at any point on his behalf, right?
Yeah, because some questions were asked. So a lot was going on. Let's just put it that way. A lot was going on. And so it's not like he didn't greet her because, and it was all quiet. You know what I mean? There was a lot going on. He asked questions,
Yeah.
but just greeting wasn't there. And normally he gets upset for the same thing. So this time it
Good
was
example of a
reversed.
mirror, right? Yep. Right. So then at that point, she gets upset. She goes into the room. She feels neglected. She feels these things. All these feelings are justified in her behalf because of past traumas. Right. So then, they talk about it, but right there's an opportunity as the man, right? And as the woman, hey, I'm triggered when you don't say hello to me. Right. I'm triggered by the fact that you're ignoring me or whatever when you first walk into the door. So just acknowledge me, give me a hug, and let's set the tone of the evening or the day or the exchange in that manner, right? Because of her past traumas. Now, is that an unrealistic request from her? Is that
I just feel like if they both feel the same way, if he wants to be greeted when he gets home and she wants to be greeted when she gets home, they both want the same
boom?
thing,
It's an
That's a
equal
really
exchange of
great
energy.
time, right, to implement a code because then it's a non-negotiable. You know that that's what you have to do.
Right. And and the aspect in which you perform the code matters too. You don't perform the code as in you're taking out the trash or doing a chore that is miserable. That's
Mhm.
not the purpose of the code. Your attitude about the code is it's the code. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You don't bitch when you have to go pee. You just get up and go pee, right? Because if you don't, the consequences outweigh the
You know
benefits.
what? You just said something that just I'm gonna go left way
Let's
far.
go left.
It had nothing to do with anything of code, but it just really made me think about it. You said you taking out the trash and you're like, as if taking out the trash is a shitty thing. And I get it. It is. But a woman can say, oh, washing the dishes is a shitty thing. Like doing the laundry is a shitty thing. And I just have to say that my purpose and kind of my word for the next year is for 2026 is presence. I want to be present in all the things. If I'm taking out the trash, I want to enjoy taking out the trash. If I'm washing the dishes, I so want to be in the flow state at all times because I'm enjoying all the things that I'm doing. Why? Because I'm experiencing all the senses, right? I'm seeing, I'm smelling, I'm touching, like that's what we came here to do, experience all these things. And if we're going to be saying shitty this and a shitty attitude doing this and a shitty attitude because I'm taking out the trash, like you just have a shitty attitude overall because you shouldn't even feel that way. And I know I'm ranting, but like
No,
I
I
just
think
that's
it's
what came to
important too.
me.
No, I agree. I mean, it's funny because like I used to want to fight with Joanna. I used to like enjoy that on some weird fucked up level. But now I don't want to fight with her. And we as couples, like you're with somebody for a reason, right? They're with you for a reason. They're not your enemy,
Yeah,
right? They're
we're
not
on the
your
same
enemy.
team.
We're on the same team. And codes enable you to stay on the same team. They allow you to, build a team of character. I mean, I'm listening to an audible of the Coach K autobiography right now and culture and in seeing the depth of the culture that he built. That culture is what you build in your relationship when you start to establish codes. It's one of the benefits. Now that has to be established over time, right? You don't build culture in 10 days. You build culture over months and years.
When you build that together, it's like you have this I know you said this already, but like a greater bond
Mm,
because you're creating now this thing. It's like having a baby, right?
right.
You're these codes are like creations that you both made. And so it makes the relationship so much stronger when you have these.
And yeah, and I think too, like it takes away so much of the negativity to your point. When you have an attitude of I don't want to take the trash out, what a pain in the ass, instead of an attitude of I get to take the trash out because with the fact that I have trash means that I'm consuming, and because I'm consuming, that means I'm well fed and taken care of, and that is not a fucking problem, right? Then, when you change that attitude and you have that outlook, go ahead, hit it.
And it's energy.
Yes.
Like all that trash is just it's all we're taking it out and it's like you get to release the that bad energy so
Shed
that
the old to
you
bring in the new.
thank you.
Yes.
Just like the snake year.
Right. And so when you start to have that attitude, it deepens your connection on such a bigger level, right? Like I remember how many times in our younger years did you think of going a different route, a different option?
In what case?
Just
I'm
in the
like
way that like of pivoting of, you know what, like this isn't for me, or I'm gonna go look at this option or that option. I mean, you just
yeah,
always,
all the
yeah,
time.
you always had your options open. But when you start to establish codes, like and you start to understand the time it takes to build those codes, you
Mm.
also value the energy that you've put into a relationship. And I think we forget that a lot of times, right? Like think about how much energy, and that's a slippery slope because it doesn't mean you keep pouring your energy into shit, but I think we forget, how much energy we put into our relationships and how value that energy should be. Codes.
I think that's a just a that's it. Like, you know?
Okay. Okay.
Don't you think? I
Codes.
mean, that's pretty much all we got to say about that.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, implement that shit. Try it out. Let us know how it goes.
Yes, yes.
Be dope.
So next episode is going to be mirrors are a mother. But get ready for that because it really opens you up to some clarity about your relationship when you see it in the eyes of a mirror. So, can't wait.
And mirrors create presence, and presence creates healing. And I want to add too, like, shout out to my boy McLaren. Like, I got to experience this on another level. And I think one of the awesomest things about sports is not getting caught up in the emotion of the story necessarily in terms of the bullshit. But my boy Norris has been racing for 9 years, and his family was there. His parents were there. They were all crying. He was crying. But the beauty of that
He was
moment,
crying.
yeah, I was probably gonna cry right now, bro. But the beauty of that moment, and this is going somewhere, is that he put 9 years of effort
Mm,
into that moment, right?
mm.
And he felt that moment in that moment and all of that effort. There's that happens in relationships, right? That happens with codes, and that happens with reflection. And I don't know. I relate. I share that because I think it matters in this discussion. But ultimately, it was dope to see my man have emotion, because I think when you put your time and energy into something and you build something, there comes a time when it pays you back
I
in that
mean,
feeling.
shit, if we're going to continue with the shirt naming people stuff, I mean,
Oh, let's go,
what
Nyla.
Nyla Elise, so what does
What's
this
up,
say?
homie?
Because it's backwards in there.
Carolina
Culture.
culture. Yeah, Carolina culture.
So this is Nyla Elise in the house. I've had this for like 10 years.
Longer than that.
And he's started from the bottom, now he's here. So shout out to you too.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.